Welcome back to the channel. My name is A-bomb. We are back with Football Manager 2021 and the start of a brand new series. And the first time that I'm really doing a sequel or a successor to another series, because this series is called Eastern Resurgence 2. So 2 years ago, FM19, we did our first Eastern Resurgence series. That was with Berliner FC Dynamo in Germany, who were the most successful side in East Germany. And the original series was a plan to revitalise football in what was East Germany, the German Democratic Republic, and we were using Dynamo to do that. And we managed to get them to the Bundesliga. Not giving away too many spoilers. We got them into Europe, and I think we got a few trophies along the way. It was one of my favourite series I've ever done. I had a lot of fun with it. It was really, really good, and it's something I wanted to explore again in the future, a similar sort of series. So that's what this is. This is Eastern Resurgence 2, and it's basically another idea of like a fallen giant that are in the east of something in some form. And Steaua Bucharest are the first ever team from Eastern Europe to win a European Cup. So we're taking charge of CSA Steaua Bucharest in the 3rd division in Romania, and we're going to take them as far as we can, and maybe get get those promotions as soon as we can, get them to the top league in Romania, get them into Europe. And if we get as far as we can, and if it all goes really well, hopefully we can get them another European Cup. If that's going to be a Champions League or Europa League or Europa Conference League, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about with this club. So I have gone ahead and prepared a little history package for you. And it's a bit longer than the ones I've done before because there's a lot to unpack with this team. I mean, there's 2 teams in the city of Bucharest. You've got Steaua Bucharest and you've got FCSB. And yeah, I'm going to explain it all in this little video. So hopefully you enjoy it. Sit back and see exactly what's been happening in Bucharest in football in the past almost 70 years now. At the outbreak of the Second World War, Romania was very much a neutral nation. However, during the conflict, they found themselves on both sides as the Iron Guard and other fascist groups overthrew King Carol II, and Romania were coaxed into joining the Axis powers in 1941. They ended the war on the side of the Allied forces after a coup was staged against Prime Minister Ion Antonescu. After the war, Soviet forces remained in Romania, and the abdication of King Michael saw Romania declared a People's Republic in February of 1947. Steaua Bucharest was formed in June of the same year under the name ASA Bucharest, with the initials translating to Army Sports Association. The club underwent various name changes in its first 15 years as Romania transformed into a communist state, with the club's crest also going through changes to coincide with the nation's tricoloured flag. ASA played their very first season in the Romanian First League in 1948, finishing 14th, and went on to win their first league championship in 1951. They achieved 4 more titles before the end of the 1950s, whilst also taking part in a tournament in England, taking on the likes of Arsenal, Sheffield Wednesday, Luton Town and Wolverhampton Wanderers. They started to make a name for themselves in European competition, defeating Barcelona in both legs of a 1971 European Cup Winners' Cup tie, though they eventually went out to Bayern Munich. After a 6-year trophy drought, Steaua returned to the top of Romanian football in 1985 with another league title, starting a remarkable domestic run of almost 4 years and over 100 matches without losing. However, it was on the European stage that Steaua achieved their most astonishing result. After the Heysel Stadium disaster of 1985 saw all English clubs banned from European competition for 5 years, with Liverpool banned for 6, the Western side's hold on the European Cup scene was loosened, and it paved the way for a number of sides from the Eastern Bloc to qualify for the tournament. Amid this more shallow pool of clubs, Steaua Bucharest made it all the way to the 1986 European Cup final. There they took on Barcelona at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium in Seville. With the Spanish champions clear favourites for the tie, the Romanians surprisingly held Barcelona to a goalless draw after extra time. In a stunning penalty shootout, Steaua goalkeeper Helmut Dukadam saved all 4 of Barcelona's penalties, becoming the first ever goalkeeper to do so in a competitive match. For the first time ever, a club from the Eastern Bloc had won the European Cup. Football fans around Europe got a further glimpse of Steaua on the European stage as they followed European Cup success with a 1-0 win over Dynamo Kiev in Monaco in the European Super Cup. The goal was scored by new signing George Hagi, regarded by many as Romania's greatest ever player. The continued absence of the English side saw more good fortune for Steaua in Europe, as they reached another European Cup final in 1989, though this one ended in a 4-0 defeat to AC Milan. The Romanian Revolution of 1989 saw the end of the 42-year communist regime in Romania, and with it came the European giants raiding Eastern Europe of its footballing talent. Real Madrid signed Hagi in 1990 after being impressed during the World Cup, as other Steaua players followed Hagi through the exit door. However, success remained at the club, with 6 more league titles and 4 more domestic cups in the 1990s. Steaua underwent its biggest change in 1998, as the football club separated from the sports entity owned by the army, with Viorel Paunescu becoming the club president. Sadly, under Paunescu, the club found themselves in financial trouble, and the presidency was slowly taken over by real estate businessman Gigi Becali. Becali gained control of the club by turning Steaua into a public limited company, effectively severing the football club's ties with the army in 2003. However, no paperwork was presented proving Becali's ownership of the club. Despite 5 more league titles and consistent qualification for the UEFA Champions League and Europa League, Steaua were more often in their headlines due to Becali's narcissism, controversial views and dealings prior to his ownership of Steaua. Becali wanted to fund a national referendum on gay marriage to eradicate homosexuality, and has publicly gone on record to say that Steaua would never have a gay footballer play for them. He has also expressed views of a xenophobic, sexist and racist nature, and was convicted of a suspended prison sentence in 2013 for crimes of corruption in a land deal in the 1990s, football match fixing and even kidnapping. In 2011, when Becali could not produce proof of his ownership of Steaua, the Romanian Ministry of Defence sued the club with a claim to Steaua's crest, colours, honours and name. When the courts ruled in favour of the army in 2014, Steaua were forced to play their next fixture under extraordinary conditions. Any reference to the club's name, crest or colours had to be erased on the day. This led to the club being listed on the scoreboard as simply hosts. Furthermore, any badges had to be covered up, including those around the ground, on the team bus, on the players' shirts and even on fans' clothing. After this ruling, Becali applied to change the name of his club to FCSB in 2017. They remain in the top flight of Romanian football today, though they have not won a league title since 2015. Meanwhile, the original CSA Steaua Bucharest Sports Club announced in 2017 that it would be refounding its football section, and so the football club re-entered the Romanian league at the 4th tier, with a goal to get back to the top flight for 2021, coinciding with the completion of the new Steaua Stadium. In their first 2 seasons in the Liga patron, Steaua reached the playoffs but failed to achieve promotion. In April 2018, Steaua played the Phoenix club of the dissolved Rapid Bucharest in a match that has been heralded as the rebirth of Romanian football. 36,000 spectators packed the Arena Națională, setting a national lower league attendance record. In July 2019, Becali and FCSB received more bad news, as a court order ruled that CSA Steaua would be the rightful owners of the club's honours up to 2003, when Becali turned the club into a PLC. This includes their European Cup win, but this decision is subject to an appeal by Becali and FCSB. In 2020, Steaua finally achieved promotion to the 3rd division. With the league frozen in March due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Steaua were top of their region and advanced to the playoffs held in August, which they won with ease. Steaua Bucharest are alive and well, and will be helping them get back to the top flight. And who knows, maybe we can guide them to another major European trophy. So join me and Steaua Bucharest for another Eastern Resurgence. So yeah, it hasn't really gone to plan since their relaunch. They have managed to get 1 promotion, but they were hoping at this point to have had their 2nd promotion. And, we're going to take the reins and see how we do. So today we're just going to have a little look around the club and maybe look at a few players here and there. And then we'll get into some games next time. Before we start though, I do need to speak about the database that I'm using, because it's not possible to manage this side on the main game, on the databases that FM comes with. Strangely, you can load the league, but you can't manage any teams in the league. You can get relegated to it, but you can't manage in it. I don't really know why. So I have had to go out and look for a custom database, and there are a couple, so I will leave links to both of them in the description. So the first one that I found, it's a Romanian league database made by someone called FM Romania. It's on sortitoutsite.net, and the Romanian first, second and third leagues are all fully playable, and all the structure and the rules are all fully accurate. So that is one that I have found. But the one I'm using, it's the Leagues Mega Pack for FM21 made by Timo, which is on fmscout.com. And not only does this include Romania, but there are databases for almost every country in the world. So I can also load leagues for places like Macedonia, Kosovo, places in Africa, in Asia, in the Americas. So there's like a massive mega pack that has like leagues for every country almost. So this is the one that I'm using because it goes down to the 4th division in Romania, which means that relegation is possible from this league. I don't think it's going to happen because we are one of the favourites in the 3rd league, but it is possible to get relegated. So yeah, that's the reason that I've picked this one over the from Romania one. Also, it means that I can load some other databases as well, as I said. But let's get into the game itself then. So we can see here that I have been hired by Steaua Bucharest as a 2-year deal worth £210 a week. And we replaced the previous manager, Daniel Opricha. In terms of pronunciations, I'm going to do the best I can. I'll try and learn a few bits along the way, but I think most of it's quite easy to pronounce, I think. But we'll see how we go. So we've got Ionut Preda, the chairman, welcoming us to the club. Our media prediction is first, so we are one of the favourites in our league, at least. There's 10 different divisions amongst the 3rd league, and hopefully we'll win one of them and see where we go from there. In the facilities, you can see our stadium at Ghencea 5, which has 5,250 spectators available. We're playing there until 2021 when we move to the new Steaua Stadium, which is still under construction. And we've got average training facilities, poor youth facilities, and limited youth recruitment. We will try and improve these as soon as we can, as often as we can. So the team looks like this. They're suggesting a 4-2-3-1 for us for our best team. But we've got a striker called Chipiliu. We've got Zaharia. We'll have a look at some of these key players and see what they're like. We've got some players in on loan as well, from Viitorul, from Petrolul, from Rapid. Club Vision, so they want us to sign youngsters for the first team. That's favoured though, so that's not massively important for the club culture. Work within the wage budget, we can usually do that, and sell players for a profit. I think we're going to have to do that because if we do get some amazing players along the way, there's going to be interest in them. So keeping a hold of good players is going to be tough. In terms of the season, they want us to finish mid-table. That shouldn't be too difficult. We are favourites, so hopefully we can, hopefully we can get promotion first time. We'll definitely give it a go. So you can see that we are in a league of 10. Because of the pandemic, there were no teams relegated from the 3rd league, which means that there are more teams. So previously, the 3rd league has been divided into 5 series, with each series having 16 teams in them. But because there have been no relegations, instead there are now 10 series, each having 10 teams. So there are 100 teams in this league. If we go into the rules, you can see that the top 2 sides will qualify for the promotion playoffs. So that will be for 20 teams. The bottom 2 sides in each series get relegated to the 4th tier. And then the 3rd from bottom side goes into a relegation playoff. So looking at our squad then, it looks pretty good. We've got some key players in here that we want to try and keep hold of if we can. Our star player is a Brazilian defender called Wallace, who is 30 and yeah, looks good. I think in these early stages, I think if we can get attributes sort of in double figures, they'll be good. Like here, you can see that the yellows are the good ones really. So 11s and 12s are going to be what we look out for, I think. We've got Dean Becher, who is another centre-back. Looks, just as good as Wallace. So we've got 2 solid centre-backs. They are, playing at the top of their game at the moment. So they're not going to be with us forever. We'll probably only get maybe a couple of years out of them. But we've got 2 good centre-backs to start off with. That's nice. Rajdan is a right winger. So I think we're going to have to use wingers in this one. As you saw, 4-2-3-1 has been suggested to us, so that's probably what we're going to go with. Chipiliu was our striker. Looks like a pressing forward. Mentally, not fantastic, but 27. Again, some 11s in there are good. Physically, he looks pretty well rounded. Our last 4-star player is Kalin Charu, who is a right back, although he's left-footed, so it looks like he's going to be an inverted wing back. He's not particularly suited to being a left back. So then we've got some 3-star players. We've got some players with good potential, like Mushat here, who is on loan for the season. We don't have anyone out on loan, it seems, not from the first team anyway. But yeah, some players with some good potential. We've got a young goalkeeper here, Balbarau. Again, I'm going to have to learn some of these pronunciations. A few players that I think will be surplus to requirements, like Bakhtar here, 24. Don't think he's really going to be good enough for us. So we'll try and move some players on, try and get a bit more money in, because at the moment we have no transfer or wage budget. Let's go into our youth ranks and see who we have here. Because this is a custom database, there are going to be some regens. So I haven't seen these yet. So let's see if we've got some good ones. So we have got Pastronel here, who's a Romanian central midfielder, attacking midfielder. He's 19. He's got some good potential. He's not a regen, but he is one of our players in our youth ranks that could be promoted early on. So we have got some regens with some good potential. Agache is one. He's 15. He's a left back. Very aggressive, natural fitness. At the moment, he's only got grey stars, a little bit of potential, but he's only 15. We'll see if these guys are any good for us. I don't think this really means too much in these early stages, because once we buy players, then it will just make these players worse, if that makes sense. So you might have someone here that's got 5-star potential, but that could be nothing once you get some signings in. So yeah, that's, you know, we've got some players in here that we could hopefully use, but we'll see. I think that'll do it for today, because that history video is going to take up a fair chunk of today's video. I think we'll try and get through these friendlies off camera. Our first league game is against FCSB second team. So that's going to be an interesting start. So I get through those friendlies. I'll set up a system that will hopefully get the best out of, you know, our best players. It looks like defensively we're pretty set. So that's good, because I'm not really going to have a lot of chance to make signings with this series, I don't think. Let's put all positions on. So looking at the current ability, so we've got a good striker. Is there anywhere that we are really lacking in options? I think we'd probably need a more experienced goalkeeper. We're looking pretty good. Midfield could maybe do with some improvements, but other than that, I think we're looking pretty good. We've got a good striker. We've got some good wide players. Our defence looks pretty good. Maybe a left back. But I think goalkeeper and central midfield, if we're able to get any players in, that's where we're going to make those signings. But hopefully you're looking forward to the new series just as much as I am. If you are, and if you enjoyed today's video, drop a like down below, leave comments if you haven't done so already, or if you're new, do subscribe and turn on notifications. And next time we will hopefully be into our first competitive match, and I think it's going to be FCSB's second team in the first league game of the season, and we'll see how long this lasts and see if we can reach our end goal of trying to get them another European trophy. You know, really kick off this Eastern Resurgence, the second one, and see what we can do. For now, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.